Hey everybody, let me show you what I got going on today. I got here an iPhone 12 Pro Max. It's opened up, and what we're doing here is we're going to do a back glass replacement. So you might be asking, why is the screen off? Where's the camera? Well, this repair, I mean, if you've priced it out, it's not a cheap repair. A couple reasons. One is to get this back glass off, you need a laser machine like this. Well, to get it off properly, you could do it with a heat gun, but the best way is with this laser machine. It costs a couple $1,000. So that's one. But either way, the right way to do it is take the screen off, which I have it here. Some people don't take the screen off. What I've found is if I don't take the screen off, the dust from the laser, it gets in there and actually gets into the camera. And on the old iPhone 6s, 7s, 8s, the dust would get actually in the LCD. It happened a couple of times. So I just take that off. And then I take the camera off as well. The reason for the camera is, one, that the dust gets in there, but two, this glass here around the camera is very thick. So everybody uses a tool that is a glass breaker. So it kind of impacts this. I'll show it a little bit later. It impacts all this camera glass to bust it all up. And with the camera there, it's just, you could mess up one of the cameras. You got to be careful impacting it. So I'd rather take out the camera, so that way I know I could smash it without ruining the camera. And then also the dust in the camera. So some people might say, no, that doesn't happen. I've talked to people and they say, no, I've never gotten any dust in the camera. I think they're probably just not checking it properly. But we're talking dust. We're not talking major that you can't take a picture. But when you get any little dust in the camera, you see like these very faint circles, a little bit dark grayish. They're not noticeable if you open up the camera and you have something colored, miscellaneous, a bunch of colors. You're not going to notice it. But what I do is, when I tested it, what has happened is I'm looking at it against a white background, and then you move it and you see like this little dark circle kind of stay where it's at when you're moving the camera up and down. So yeah, I mean, it's happened a couple of times. So yeah, I'd just rather open up the phone. Number one, I don't have to worry about the dust getting in there and then trying to get that dust out. Two, impacting that glass back there. You got to be so cautious. You can mess up a camera. This camera, I think, is one of them is kind of messed up already, but you don't want to mess up the camera. It's just much easier to work with. A little tip, let me show you this here. A little tip also on the camera is, when I take the camera out, I cover this with tape. The reason for that is, if you don't do that, you're going to get dust all in there, and then you're going to have to clean that. And once these lenses, not lenses because this is just glass, but once this glass gets kind of dirty, it just becomes a mission to get it crystal clear. So that's what I do. That's just regular tape, and I kind of put it in there, flatten it out nice, so there's going to be that dust is just not going to get in there. And obviously it's not getting in from this side. So the camera there, lie it down face down, make sure you're not getting stuff on that lens, and then put it back in. So that's what's going on there. And then we got this guy here. Actually, let me go back over here. So what I do here also is put a little tape here where the battery connector is, so it doesn't wind up retouching. So that's something else that you might want to do if you're in this business. If you just leave it, when you put this down, you're probably going to wind up connecting that battery and creating a problem. So I put a little tape in between so that doesn't get damaged. And then I keep these broken screens, and I'll put a screen in there. I'll put a screen on it. That way I could face it down flat, no problem, and I'm not having problems with these cameras and all that exposed as well. So I will put that on there. So that way you know, nothing, you know, the cameras are those front cameras are not exposed, and when I work with it, you know, it's just easier to work with like this than with all those things exposed. If you're not familiar with this machine, I'll go a little bit through it. Basically, you put this here, just like a measuring, it measures basically the target distance. You put that there, and then basically it focuses it. So that focuses the lens, and then I am using the molds. I'll put the mold on it, and this is not a tutorial. I'm just kind of going through it. You know, see my videos. You know what my videos are. What's going on at PC911? Got the mold there. Put it in its spot. Then we open up. I don't know if I have this opened up yet. Well, I haven't opened up the program, but basically we open up the program, open up the software, and basically the software, what it does, in this case, since I use the molds, I just have a rectangular area, and it just burns through. Run that a couple of times, and then start peeling off the back. Now, it still worked to peel off that back. You have the back to peel off, you know, not messing anything up, which is a little bit of a job. You got the wireless, the magnet back there, the MagSafe magnet in the back. That's going to be put on too. So it is a lot of work. So if you see those prices out there, $180, $200, it's because it does take a while. You need equipment. You got to know what you're doing to get it right. That's what's going on right here, right now at PC911.